on, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fabulous. This is Angela, and I have got questions with you. What opens with Dr. Quad and Dr. G's marital drama, and what closes with Dr. G and Quad's marital drama, sorta, kinda. If you guys Married to Medicine reunion part 3, or hour 3, I think is what they're calling it, season 5, episode 18, or saw it on the little thumbnail, you're correct. Hey, welcome in the chat. Thank you for clicking on the video and sticking around or coming in live to see how we get from opening to closing. It's Married to Medicine, the reunion part 3. So this whole season, from the opening with us finding out that Dr. Jackie and Fancy Car Curtis, that, you know, all of this was going on, to this last hour of the reunion, I think it's just been some really interesting reality TV, and I think it feels like sort of different to me from, you know, I guess as I'm processing it and thinking about it. But anyway, let us proceed with my notes, and then we can chit chat a little bit. The girl had receipts. Contacted Quad. So we're picking up sort of where we left off. We might be looping back a little bit, but the last we heard, or, you know, when we were leaving before, Dr. G was going into the hotel room with a woman that he and his friend had met. His friend met one woman, he met another woman, he got a hotel with the woman, he went to the room with the woman, and when he got into the room, he said, and I think she has said too, she co-signed it, he like, I'm leaving, but you can stay in the hotel. The next day when she got the receipt, she like, I thought he looked familiar. Dr. G, Married to Medicine. She reached out to Quad, or reached out to Dr. G, and is like, give me money, or else I'm going to your wife. And then she reached out apparently to Quad and said, give me money. Hey, Spencer Whitelow, give me money, or tell your husband to give me money, or else I'm going to the shade room. And she had reached out to her on social media. So the girl had receipts, contacted Quad on social media and said, okay, yeah. So, and then Dr. G's whole, y'all, I didn't really, he came across as very excuse me, look, I was going to find another word for hole. He came across as a real butthole. He has just not shown well this whole season. And I don't know if it's because he is a butthole or if he's just playing one on TV. But he just seemed very unrepentant. He said, well, if I had done something wrong, I would have to repent. And he put her, you know, she's like, he basically was like, you know, now, you know, are you going to help me or not? You know, like just his whole, you know, he didn't feel bad. He didn't seem to feel bad. Us watching it doesn't seem like he felt bad. It seemed like he felt like he had done the right thing, or had done the right thing by not sleeping with the woman. Although he don't have a fan in me. Does he have a fan in you? Dr. G? Dr. G is not for me. I do not like Dr. G from what I can see. Dr. G is not for me. I do not like what I see. So then Dr. Simone, this is the scene that we've been seeing. This ain't rocket science. You are on TV. Biatches are looking for you. And then we'll talk about that. Okay, so then he says that she's trying to weasel her way out, or she says that but anyway, Quad and Dr. G are just arguing back and forth, and Dr. G is basically not repentant. But you were mad before. He says that she was mad before he cheated with the woman, or was about to cheat with the woman, or almost didn't quite cheat with the woman, and put them in a position where, you know, his wife could have been embarrassed, and she was upset about that, even though some people are saying that his wife paid the woman to do that so the Quad would get a better settlement. Now, I don't know if that's true or if it makes sense or not, but anyway. Hey, lady. Caught you right as I'm about to go into Walmart. Hey, I love your setup, especially that wall. I love vintage things. Thank you, Lady Cupcake. Was a Lady Cupcake. Have fun in Walmart. Although I don't like Walmart. Okay. Curtis is like, Curtis, do you have any thoughts? I think that's the interviewer asking. And Curtis is like, Fancy Car Curtis is like, you need to take ownership, Dr. G. I mean, he's so old and grown and a therapist. Like, I don't know why someone would have to look, my voice is all high. I'm upset. Let me bring it down a little bit. I don't know why someone would have to tell this grown old man who's a therapist to take responsibility for Okay, so anyway, Quad is like, I'm about to go. She said, also, like, while all of this is going on, she's like, basically wants to walk off the stage. And Dr. Jackie goes over to her and she's like, no, don't go, stay. And Quad is like, oh, I'm about to go. She doesn't go, but anyway, now all of the women are agreeing that he didn't cheat because of her. I hate Walmart. I make my Target run, then whatever is, and I go to Wally World. You probably down south. I never heard anybody call Walmart Wally World till I moved down south. I'm like, Wally World. But Target, they all corporations, girl. I'm do your thing, girl. So all of the women are basically agreeing, even Mariah, that like, Dr. G, that's on you. We can't co-sign. We can't support you. We can't be jumping on. And then Dr. Daddy is like, Dr. Damon Daddy, we need to forgive each other. And I'm like, how you gonna forgive the man? He ain't sorry. He ain't asked for forgiveness. He ain't even asked for forgiveness, let alone being sorry. So no, we don't forgive him. Dr. G apologized. He's like, I'm sorry, but... And then, but I have your back too, as your husband, blah, 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 blah. Yep, I'm from Baton Rouge, but live in Texas. Okay, maybe you can fill us in, but where to shop. Girl, that's a whole nother thing. Just came in to give you the thumbs up. Good night, bro. Thank you, Yappa Yappa. I appreciate it. So Dr. Jackie is like, when you're apologizing to someone, butt should not, we want to keep butt out of the apology. And again, he's grown, he's old, he's a therapist. I don't know why anybody has to talk to him about, how to behave, how to treat, a human, let alone his wife. What's going on, Dr. G? Okay, so Dr. Jackie tried to coach the man. Dr. Simone, then we move on to Dr. Simone and Cecil. And Michael, who is the baby boy, is having a tough time with the idea of a divorce. The other son who went away to college, I can't remember his name, he's not as expressive. So if he is having a tough time, they say that they wouldn't know if he was having a tough time or not. Cecil says he was about showing love and trying to be loving. Eugene is like, everyone has their own individual ways. And Simone is like, well, nobody asked you. And I kind of felt the same way too. And then Eugene is like, well, he has called and told you he was thinking about you. Because, they have flashbacks from when they were at the couples retreat. And the therapist is like, well, how many times a day, Cecil, do you think about your wife? And Cecil's like, I think about my wife all day. And the therapist, the legitimate therapist who was on a retreat, was like, well, sometimes call your wife and let her know you're thinking about her. That's tantamount to saying I love you. And Dr. Simone was nodding and agreeing, like, yeah, if he called during the day to say I'm thinking about you, I care about you, that would mean something to her. That's what she said then. So I don't know why Eugene is saying that the man has called and told her that during the day. Maybe he's been with him one time when he called, or maybe multiple times, because he sure said it like he knew. And I was kind of surprised, like, how would he know what the man is doing in his marriage? And then Simone is like, no, he didn't. And don't tell me what's up in my marriage. So I don't know where, Dr. Eugene was coming from with all of that mess and foolishness. And then we have Del Toya. I don't know what that is. You never said at the men's bar, I never heard you say you wanted your marriage. When all of the men were together, Toya is like, when you were at the men's bar and the people were talking, I never heard you say, Cecil, that you wanted your marriage. So, and you said it was so easy for you to say that you loved your female friend. And what is your issue? Like, I don't know. My notes, it was like so much going on. I was like hard to get notes. But anyway, she basically is making the point that, like, are you in, it seemed like do you not want your marriage? It's easy for you to say you love this other woman, but you can't say you love your wife? Sir, Okay, so then Cecil is like, we're not spending time together. We're not enjoying each other's company. She's busy with work and the show. And then Dr. Simone, she disagrees. And Toya is like, well, you can't tell him how he feels. And I do agree with that. Like, I feel like, we got to listen to each other, and we have to try to, like, not just listen to the words that people say, but listen to understand, listen to people's hearts, listen to connect, listen to build. You know what I mean? We got to build together. So, so then Mariah is like, well, can you give Simone some extra? And Dr. Simone is like, oh, we're done. He don't need to give me nothing. You don't need to be asking him to do nothing for me. The divorce papers are signed, or the divorce is in process, and we're good with that. Like, I ain't begging no man to love me. That's basically how I think she feels. Like, I've been asking and pleading for the last 10 years. Why am I going to, it's enough. I'm done. I'm through. I'm finished. It's complete. It's a wrap. And then Cecil is like, well, our therapist, they're still talking. And he's like, well, our therapist asked us to do an assignment to write love letters to each other. And I took that assignment, Cecil says, very seriously. And I spent a lot of time writing my letter to you. And it was just from my heart. And you, Dr. Simone, I think you might have written your letter in the car on the way to the meeting. And Dr. Simone is like, yeah, I did. So, he feels like that kind of hurt his feelings or whatever. Now, I kind of felt like, I guess different people do different things. So I think that it was good that he did it, that he took it seriously. I don't even know if I think that it was bad that she didn't take it seriously. I think when you have a breakdown in a relationship and a breakdown in communication and people feel hurt and disconnected, like rebuilding or building ties is kind of challenging. And sometimes people do some janky stuff. So I thought that was kind of janky, but she probably felt like she was busy and she didn't have time. But Dr. Simone is like, for 5 years, this woman has been a problem. And I think her name is Tammy. That's his best friend, his golf buddy, whatever. And he invited her. Now, this part, I was just so very confused by. She said, Tammy was all over the internet today. Oh, I've been running I've been running all day. So I haven't even, for the last few days. I didn't understand so maybe Tammy explained how you invite somebody for Christmas and then they stay for 8 days. And then I'm kind of like, is it because Simone, Dr. Simone and the man were living in a different house? So did the woman come over for Christmas dinner and then Dr. Simone came back a few days later and the woman was still there? Who comes to Christmas dinner with a bag when they're local? I don't understand. Like, I couldn't figure out how to make sense of that scenario. Like, it just sounded really suspicious to me. Like, she just living in the house with the man. I did not understand it. Simone got really kind of emotional, or I felt it in her voice. She said, once filming starts, I'm working 2 full-time jobs. I have no life. I am making sacrifices on top of that for a dog that I do not even want. I got to walk him and I got to clean up his poop. So she was just really, really upset. And then he says that he wants her to meet him halfway. And Dr. Jackie is like, focus on what you are doing, not her. And that's what I feel like. I feel like we should really meet each other. We should meet each other, not halfway, but I should go 100% of the way and you should go 100% of the way. When we cross, there's some room for some mess and confusion. Like, if we just meet halfway, we don't really have no give or take. We need to have some give and take, So I don't feel like she should just meet him halfway. I feel like, they should both be giving it their 100%, not 50%, 50%. And then Curtis says that he can speak to this. We give you guys, you female doctors, a lot of passes. And it is hard being married to a physician. It's very difficult for me. Now, I think that Curtis did better on this episode for me. Like, I think most of what he said was not annoying. It was just because he was saying it that I was like, shut up, Fancy Car Curtis. But most of what he was saying was valid. So I just haven't gotten over my annoyance with him. I haven't quite forgiven him. I'm trying to forgive him. I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to feel like, good about him, but I just don't have I haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on it though, but so I can admit that some of what he said was valid. Dr. Damon is like, marriage is a choice and we have to make choices and choose to make our marriage work. Simone is like, Simone and Cecil have negated all of the terms. Oh, so there's a conversation about the divorce. So Simone says, me and Cecil and I have negotiated all of the terms of our divorce. We've worked everything out. We talked about it. We agreed on it. We sent it to the lawyers when we went out of town. And when we get back, we'll have the paperwork. As long as Cecil signs, there will be no issue. We've had a good separation and we're going to have a good divorce as long as Cecil signs the papers. So do they film the Married to Medicine reunion someplace other than Atlanta? Because it seemed like they kept saying they were out of town. Are they out of town? Where they at? So Quad asked for a potty break, and her saying, she said, oh, can we have, because I feel like this next section is going to be long. Her asking for a potty break is when kind of like the whole episode and the whole show kind of like shifted, like the whole dynamic changed. So she went to the bathroom, and then during that time, Quad makes a plan to save Simone and Cecil's marriage. Somebody is making a plan. Like they're like, well, if he don't sign the paperwork, it won't go through. Somebody was over there on the couch talking, like basically they gonna tell them don't sign the paperwork because we still fighting for this marriage. We ain't giving up on it. And then Simone, Dr. Simone is back, and Toya is there in the bathroom. I know, good question. Maybe New York. Why are they going to New York to film the reunion? Atlanta, they film it right. The Real Housewives of Atlanta, they film right in Atlanta, right? At the Whitmore Hotel, whatever. Anyway, so Toya is talking to Dr. Simone, and she's like, there are people on the couch and they're talking to your husband, and she's like back and forth negotiating, and she eventually lets Dr. Simone know that, your husband has agreed. We've been working on it. We negotiated. He agreed to give up Tammy. So, Dr. G gets in, and he's like, Tammy is Dr. G is using his, therapist talk. He's like, Tammy is a triangulating figure and your wife needs you. And, Toya is like, oh, he changed, she's talking to Dr. Simone, and she's like, he changed the one thing that you wanted. So you have to be willing to change. You can cross that off your list of demands. And so what are you willing to give up? We got to get y'all back to the table. We got to get this marriage back together. What you willing to give up? Now you hear me saying he gonna leave Tammy alone. He said he gonna leave Tammy alone, and then you gonna love. I'm gonna love you whether you single or not. But I'm not here. I'm here trying to fight for your marriage. We're here trying to fight for your marriage, and I want you to fight for your marriage. And I want you to hear me when I say that Cecil has agreed to give up Tammy. Okay, sis? And so then Heavenly is learning, to take, she's saying, I'm learning you got to take you out of it. It's you got to put the other person at the center. And she even said that that's what's wrong with me and Mariah. We each putting ourselves at the center, and we got to take ourselves out of it and put the other person at the center. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe, Heavenly with her foolishness toward Mariah will, not that I'm a lover of Mariah, but it's good to see some progress in her thinking about things differently, because she don't look cute to me when she's drawing pictures on the drawing on the woman's property. That's not cute to me, no matter how I feel about Mariah. I'm like, ew, you're grown. Ugh. And then Toya, she comes back and she says too, how on the reunion, the women sit in the front and the men sit in the back on stools. And Toya says to, Toya negotiates so that Simone and her husband are sitting next to each other, and she's sitting back in the back where Cecil was sitting. And then Dr. Simone and Cecil are next to each other, and we see that they're holding hands. So we're like, oh my gosh, there's still hope. It's not over yet. And we're seeing it unfold right here at the reunion. And I hope that, they went on to continue, but anyway, it's like the whole group, you can feel the energy of the group fighting for the relationship. And we've already felt increasingly, or I have, how the group is connected. You know, like how it's not just like how they're like really a group and they have relationships with each other outside of the television show. So they're holding hands, and then Jackie is squatted down on the floor in front of them. She's like sending them energy, like heal, unite. Like, you know, she trying. I don't know why she's squatting other than to just, you know, put her vibration on it. And then, we are all tired. Sometimes we have to, we're all tired. There's, they're talking about, how she's like, I work 2 jobs. I'm tired. It's like, we're all tired. Sometimes we have to go out tired. Sometimes we have to go to the movies and fall asleep in the movies together. And, Simone is like, well, I've been in counseling every week. And, then her husband is like, well, I've been going to the counselor too. And she's like, but I've been every week. She's still in that, it's hard for her to like let go of, the fight and the battle. And like, when you shut something out, you start thinking about all of the reasons why it didn't work and why it's good that it's over, which is a different posture from when you're fighting for something, when you're still in something. So it's like she's trying to flip the switch to fight for it, or we're all wanting her to flip the switch to fight for her marriage. We like 21 years. We want to see you win. I was working with this woman today who's been married for 50 years. I just think that's awesome and beautiful. I don't even know Cecil and Dr. Simone. I want to see them celebrating 50 years of marriage together. Ups and downs and ins and outs and yes. And married to medicine. Married. We want to see this marriage work. Where are they filming? Dr. Simone and Cecil end up kissing at the end of all of this. Like, yes, we're going to fight for our marriage, blah, 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 blah. And then Andy is like, that's some of the realest ish I've ever seen on TV. And I kind of felt the same way. Like, it was like, it really felt like, to me, reality TV. Did it feel fake to you? It felt like reality, right? Like right on the TV. And sometimes reality TV don't feel that real. And then Cecil is crying and he's like, it's been painful and he doesn't want a divorce and he's willing to fight. And that's like really exciting because he had seemed so passive about the whole thing from what we could see. And then it's kind of like if you're in a marriage and if you want to fight and the other person don't want to fight, then why you gonna fight if they not gonna fight? So, it's kind of like, well, if she's back in, then he's in. And then we have hope for Heavenly and Mariah. And then this woman, Tammy, has been in the picture for 5 years. And these are probably just my random notes. So this is season 5. So this made me wonder when Dr. Simone said, that there are biatches that have seen you on TV and are going after you. Was this woman who's been his best friend for 5 years? Is this one of these biatches that saw him on TV and latched onto him? I mean, who is this woman who's staying at somebody's house for eight days? I don't understand. And Dr. Simone, okay, so we talked about that. And then there's the Kumbaya segment and Mariah. And, she's like, sometimes diversity brings people together. And then Toya is like, I want my friends to win and be happy. And sometimes I'm hard on you, but I love you. And Dr. Heavenly is like, I feel more comfortable being open about my marriage on the show because the show has brought you two back together. And I see that it didn't tear you apart because she had asked that the last hour. She's like, do you feel like being on reality TV tore your marriage apart? Because I ain't gonna say nothing about my marriage if it's gonna tear my marriage apart. That's what Dr. Heavenly is thinking. And then I noticed that when we looped back to Quad and Dr. G, nobody tried to save their marriage. They didn't, the whole squad didn't go into full effect to try to save them. So I guess that, she says she's tried to protect her husband and he's still disrespecting her. And I guess the people don't feel as passionate about her relationship. And I don't either. I mean, people are like, oh, I've always liked Dr. Simone and Cecil. I don't know if I've always liked them or not, but I know that I've always felt uncomfortable about Quad and Dr. G because I heard about, how they, before the marriage happened and them sending out the letters, the text messages saying, I don't want, all of that, it just seemed messy and chaotic and stressful and like they getting married, it don't sound like a good situation. So I've always felt their relationship always kind of stressed me out. So, nobody, so she kind of in limbo, she says, although I've heard that they live in 2 different houses too. I don't know if it's true. There was kind of like lots of tease for next season. Like, will Mariah and Heavenly reunite? Will Heavenly put Mariah at the center in their relationship? And will Mariah put Heavenly in the center of their relationship? And will there be love and peace between those two women? And then Quad and Dr. G, we still don't know what's going on with them. When we come back next season, will they be together? Will they be apart? Dr. G and Quad likes the drama. That's true. And some people are like into drama, and that's like exciting to them. And, you know, like you say, they like it. But it stresses me out. I don't like to. So will Quad and Dr. G be back together? We might see them 25 years from now, 50 years from now, at their 50-year anniversary, fighting and fussing and cussing each other out, but still together and in their kind of love. We don't know. And then Dr. Simone and Cecil, will they be? I mean, did they lead the show and then just go on after the taping? Were they like, forget it, I'm done with you? Or did they really work it out and get back together? What happened? And then I want to know more about Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon's marriage, because of course when we were on the couples retreat, he said, you know, Dr. Heavenly has issues. We have issues in our marriage. She just don't know how to talk about them. And then Dr. Heavenly kind of talked about it too, like, you know, she don't want to have her stuff on TV and mess up her marriage. So are we going to learn more about, you know, what's going on with them? And, you know, see, you know, I think that it's healthy to have this idea of the perfect marriage, like your goals, your relationship goals. I think it's good to be disabused of that notion. Like, just let that go. Nobody's relationship is perfect. And, you know, if you in a relationship, you're going to have challenges. It shouldn't be, I don't think it should be all day, every day, but there are going to be rough times. You're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Overall, you know, y'all should be, you know, moving up together. You know, it shouldn't be like your life is worse because you with the person. It should be better because y'all together. You know, y'all should make each other better. But I mean, it's not going to be easy. And it's good to see, you know, real life people, I think, you know, kind of dealing with. So I enjoyed it. I was impressed from the whole season. You know, even though, you know, I'm not for Dr. Jackie and Fancy Car Curtis being back together. I'm for those grown people making decisions about what works for them. And I'm for, you know, I feel like I'm for, you know, I'm not for being in a relationship just to be in a relationship or to be a desperado. Like, oh my gosh, if I'm not in a relationship, I'm nothing. You know, I'm not for that, or being in an unhealthy relationship or an abusive relationship. But if they happy and it's working for them, then I think it's lovely and wonderful. And I'm here for Black love. I'm here for white. I'm here for love. I love love. Is that what Rocky say? I love love. I love love. I love love. So anyway, that's what I got. I'm so excited. I didn't tell you all. I mentioned it on the notes on the news, but I have a lamp. Someone suggested that I just get a lamp and that I don't have to like do like a whole fancy. I have this plan in my head, but a lamp is. So yeah, this gave me this, you know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, for being you, for being fabulous you. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So go on and enjoy and spread your love and light throughout the world. Thank you. Thank you for the commentary and the thoughts. And yeah, I'm going to see what's up with Miss Tammy. Is that, I don't know why, if I happen to come across something. But be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Peace.